And he's coming to us. We are an international Rotary right now because he's coming to us from Edmonton, Canada. He said that last week it got down to 40 below, so I am not complaining about the weather today at all. Patrick, I will let you tell us a little bit about yourself and launch into your talk. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hilo Bay.
Wow, excellent. Thank you, Lorraine. It's always really nice to be with, to join people who are just together because of love. I heard even when people are just talking about birthdays, about how thankful they are, how people are sick and how you are taking care of them. That's really nice thing. That's where I could wish to be right now. So I'm a father of 5. Married, like last week we had our 14th marriage together with my wife. I was born in a country called the Democratic Republic of Congo. Here in Canada, I'm a social worker and I work directly with children. So, wow. I was born in a country called the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was colonized. Most of the African countries were colonized by some of European countries. So Congo happened to be colonized by Belgium. Because of the colony of Congo, most Congolese who had an opportunity, they went to school. Congo has 430 tribes, 430, which means each tribe speaks their own language. But the main 2 languages, there is a Swahili and French and some Lingala. So that's our local languages. So because of the tribes, our tribe, which is in the east of Congo, we are regarded as not to be a true citizen of Congo. But according to the history, they say that we reached in Congo like 500 years ago. Here in Canada and even in the States, people spend 5 years and they are granted citizenship just for 5 years. In Congo, apparently, we lived there for really many years, but normal Congo, the Congolese, our neighbors, or our tribesmen who are around, they call us that we are foreigners who came from Burundi, from Rwanda, from Ethiopia, from some other country, not in Congo. So while I was young, like from 1994, when the genocide of Rwanda finished, the perpetrators who killed people in Rwanda, they crossed into Congo. When they reached in Congo, they convinced the people that we are Tutsis. The word Tutsis and all that, even myself, I had it when I was really grown up. My dad was a traditional chief. We used to live in a 5-bedroom house in Congo. But while we were in school, by then I was 13 years old. 13 years old, my dad, they started telling us, when you go to school, please come back when it is still light. I still remember as if it is yesterday. One day we are coming back, it was on Wednesday, we are in a classroom, we started hearing gunshots. Hearing gunshots while inside the school. So our teacher came in and asked us to go home. We ran over home, it was just a walkable distance. When we were around to reach at home, that's when I saw the auntie and my other brother who live with me here coming out. What else I could just hear, they were saying, let us go, let us go, let us go. Honestly, it was around 5 p.m. In the 5 p.m. it's still light. When I looked in the east of my direction, we could see the house being burnt. So we ran up and we entered into the small forest, which was just near our compound. We stayed there until around 6 p.m. The dark started coming in. We walked for 4 days. For people who are aware of geography, we walked until we reached in a small suburb called Uvira. My uncle died from there, died in a way while we are going. Unfortunately, when we arrived in Uvira, but we are still in Congo together, we are still in Congo. That's when I sustained the wounds here. It's unfortunate that I'm on a Zoom on my legs. Then my aunt whom I was with, they said Congo is being unsafe for us. Let us cross into Uganda. Uganda was colonized by Britain, and I think Uganda has like 25 tribes. So which means they also speak different languages, different culture. When we crossed into Uganda, now our state has changed. We became refugees. When we arrived in Uganda, with the first problem which we had, it was language, the language barrier. The Ugandan people speak English. Others speak their local languages. So for someone who is coming from Congo, it was like, no way, we didn't know any language. That was one. Second, Uganda as a nation, it's a poor nation. All what they could be able to provide for us was security. Me and you, we know that beside the security, we need food, we need the medical care, we need all other kinds of things. So we are sent into the refugee camp called the Chakatu refugee camp. So we came from 5-bedroom house to the tent which is not even, it's just smaller than this office of mine now. We lived there when we were 7 of us. The food was so hard to get. But there is one thing which really we didn't, one thing which kept us going. It was a hope for tomorrow. I know with this pandemic, all of us, people have lost jobs, people have lost, and sometimes we feel like the world is closing to us. But I believe there is still a hope. So we lived in Uganda for 10 years.
Wow.
But after like 2 years, that's when my dad was able to cross over in Uganda, and he had sold the house, which our lives started changing. As I'm speaking right now, in Uganda, there is 1.5 million refugees, originally coming from Congo, Burundi, Somalia, and South Sudan. So when I finally made it into here in Canada, that's when I said, you know, what about if we do something to help other refugees in a camp and outside the camp? We started just a small project. That's where Giving Refugee Hope in Uganda started from. We are 10 directors here in Canada, which ranges, we have doctors on the board, we have nurses and all that, and all of us, we are volunteers. So that everything we get, we can be able to empower those refugees. Last year, I had an opportunity. I'm actually leaving this Friday. I'm leaving this Friday for mission trip. So last year, we had an opportunity. I had an opportunity to go with one of my friend, Pastor Gren. When we arrived in a camp, we normally do visits. We visited this lady. Her name is called Grace. Unfortunately, our media, Canada or US or somewhere else, they cover Middle East, what is going on, but I don't know why they don't cover even things which are going on in East Congo as I'm speaking right now. So this young lady, she's 29 years old. Grace is 29 years old. She had 4 children. The husband was killed, not because he did anything, just because of whom he looked like. Then she crossed over into Uganda. When she arrived in Uganda, we met her. I think I can be able here to show the picture. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can see on your left-hand side, that's me, and that's Tammy and Hans. We are just in a small shack of her in a Chakatu refugee camp. That was last year in 2020. This lady, what was different between this lady and myself? It was a hope which she had despite losing the husband, despite losing almost everything which she had. She told us that, I know I have lost 2 children. I still have just 2, but I know she's a believer. She said, if God spared her from Congo and reached her into Uganda, she's going to live. When we came back, because of the good heart of people like yourself, who go in a food bank to help, who go in YC, who does all things which you are doing for the community, right now, this is where she lives. You can see the picture here. And these are the same children whom you saw there up in March of 2020. So some of the program which we do the sewing machine. So we figured that if there is anything which can help people, it's to empower them. It's to empower them, teach them a skill, then they can go and provide for themselves. So we started a sewing machine project, then a hairstylist, and most of African women or Black women, they do their hairs like every other week, they are changing it. I mean the Ugandans. So that one creates employment. When we came back, we were able to connect with different Rotary clubs, and we bought a land. I think this one was Fort Gratiot. So we bought a land and we started the construction. That was in October 2020. This was October. This was where the building was. As I'm speaking right now, this is where the building is. So the building is complete, and we think there is 37 women who are inside. One of them friends, her name is Bahati. She has 6 children. She told me, she gave me permission to share this. She used to do the prostitution to be able to feed her kids. When we came back here, she went into the program for 4 months. Then we were able to buy her a sewing machine. That sewing machine, now she's earning an income for herself. Right now, she's self-sufficient, she's doing well. So we are hoping to train more women so that they can, because I believe, I'm a man here, I have a wife, and I do all kinds of things for which we do, but our ladies, sometimes they are foundation of the family. We figured let us empower them because they didn't even have an opportunity for the education. So right now, that's the home. This is the children. Back in the camp, the first thing when we reach in the camp which happens is one. In Uganda, there is no medical, they don't have, if you are sick, there is no other way to do. You have either to have money, and when you are a refugee, you don't have money. So what happened when we came back here in 2018, we figured that maybe let us do something and construct a medical center for the people. Right now, as I'm saying, we have reached on the stage of this one, and we are hoping to finish the medical center just very soon. Maybe by July, it will be open. This is all because of people like me and you. So it's really an opportunity. I really call you upon to keep on being ambassadors of hope. I have no doubt that together we can be able to change life. One of the things which I used to always ask myself, I was like, oh, if there is 1.5 million people in Uganda who are refugees, as a person, can I be able even to do anything? My donation will be just like a drop in a river. But I figured it's one at a time. So it's really, we are hoping to get chairs for the training center and to do the floor, because the building now they are working into it, but we are needing the chairs and we need to do well the floor. That's our hope to raise funds. So, but with me ending, let me tell you this. Let us keep on doing what you are doing, because I still remember in 2000, one of the family coming from US, they came outside and they found us outside the tent, and they gave us equivalent to $15 American, and we were able to buy food for like 4 days. I still remember that, which means whatever you do when you go outside in a community, it's really variable. Sometimes we feel like we are not doing much, but you are doing a lot. So maybe you may be also going through a lot. Maybe you're not a refugee, like myself, I'm no longer a refugee too, dealing with other things. But if my life can change, me coming from a tent where we were just living in a very small, tiny thing, to live into my own house in Canada, your life also can keep on changing into the positivity. Thank you so much. I want to leave some minutes for some people who may have a question, but I'm so glad and so happy to be part of, to be invited into your club. Thank you a lot. The floor is back to you, so that for those ones who may have any question for me.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, folks?
No, just a statement. I'm very impressed with what you're doing and your mental state. I worked in Uganda for about 2 or 3 years, so I know what the situation is there. And you're right, everything is hard, but especially hard for refugees. So, gosh, if there's any way we can help, I'm sure that we will.
Thank you. Wow. Which part of Uganda did you use? Was it in Kampala?
Yeah, in Kampala.
In Kampala, wow.
But I did a lot of work up in Sudan.
Oh, wow.
As well, out of Uganda, so that was pretty tricky, and into Congo as well.
Wow.
But so I saw what mostly of what you're going through. So what you did go through.
Wow.
So you're right. It's the little things like that sewing machine which makes all the difference. Yeah. I admire you.
Oh,
put it
thank
bluntly.
you. Thank you also for sparing your time and going and do the work there, put your life on a risky. So thank you.
Patrick, this is Alan Okinaka. What is the long-term solution to the refugee and poverty problem in Uganda?
The long term, we are hoping just to train them so that they can integrate with Ugandans, because the state of Congo, in my opinion, is a failed state, because we are not seeing it being really people going back. Even South Sudan is still, there is uncertainty a lot, but once we empower them, then they can be able to provide for themselves until their countries get well.
So besides sewing machines, are there other things that can be provided to create small industries?
Yes, one of the other things which we dealt with, it's a like a trauma. The people who went through this, we are hoping to have the counseling sessions mostly for these ladies and the children. We have actually children home. I didn't just talk much about it. Like where these children comes from, like all varieties. And some of them we have started feeling like they need the counseling services so that they can grow well. So the school, all these children goes to school, and the organization give the best. Actually, the people who donate give the best, because they are in a good school, they are living very well. These, we used to call them orphans, but now they can't be orphan when they have me and you. So we just call them children home. Yeah, they can't.
How Patrick, how is the government? Is the government behind all these projects? Do they provide you with support, or?
Oh no, we go with the individual, like individual donations. Sometimes we are supported by churches, Rotary clubs. Really, the Rotaries are our core. There's really good people.
Mhm. Wow.
Wow.
Any other questions?
I guess I'm wondering, since we live with a pandemic, if what's happening in Uganda with regard to this, your facility there, and do you have a clinic along with the home, or no? I wasn't real clear on that. And are people being immunized?
Yeah, the medical center is under construction. And because in Uganda, maybe it's because there is not too much testing, but according to them, there is a very low COVID things, and very few people have died from it. So they are talking about vaccination in July.
Okay, one other comment, Patrick. I don't know if you know about Project Cure, which is not a Rotary project, but related to Rotary. When your clinic is done, they might be a source for being able to get medical equipment and furniture for the clinic. So look up Project Cure. They're international, and they're supported by Rotaries to provide, they get free medical equipment and furniture, and then Rotarians help with the shipping costs.
Wow.
And they also have training teams that they send so that people are trained on how to use the medical equipment when they get it.
Wow.
So you might
Wow.
look into that. Project Cure, and Cure is a acronym, C-U-R-E, with periods after each letter.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And the lastly, please, I invite you, my brother, there for you reach in Uganda, I invite you to come back and visit the country. You know, when it's being told, it's like the way we look at the movie, but when you go on the ground, it's more real. I always say that every time when I go and I come back, I'm more encouraged and even more persistent with what I'm going through here. Sometimes when I live there, I'm like, Patrick, never again stress out because of the phone or anything, because it's not a necessity. Yeah, so I really extend the invitation on behalf of the charity so that you can come and visit us.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions for Patrick?
I do. I have a question. Hi, Patrick. I'm Jolie. You had a screen up that had a budget to care for the giving home. Yes. How do you give to that? How do you get money for this home?
So,
is there a place?
We have been just more supported by one of the ministry in a state in Texas. They have been paying for rent, and then other people pitch in just to buy for them food. So that's how we have been in operation. That's how they have been living anyway.
And if somebody from here in America wants to donate to that, is there a link, or
Yes.
is there?
Yeah, so we have a PayPal link, and we are registered charity here for like almost 10 years now. So yeah, and whatever, because we are all volunteers, we don't have any staff. So which means all the donation which comes in goes to the project.
And how can we get that link?
Oh, I will just send it. I will send it to Lorraine. Then yeah, there is an email there. Yeah. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you.
Thank you.
And when you get a
Patrick, you can
chance,
also put it in the chat.
Yes, thank you. Oh, yes, in the chat. And please, when you get a chance, go even on the Facebook. There is a lot which is there which you can be able to read and learn more about the charity. But let me send it on the chat.
May I say a little comment? I was really impressed, and all the women are now trying to get a sewing machine and working for the something, right? And then this is the material of the wear the old women's wearing the pattern was so beautiful that I caught that too. So it may be those women can produce something for international not size related or more kind of everybody can wear something like a scarf or something, so that'll be the more spread out for good products. That I think like that too. I really like the colorful material that women's wear. So this is my small suggestion to the women's that I really want them to their own the life through sewing. And I really wanted to support. Thank you.
Good idea.
Good idea. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, Patrick. I want to wish you well and continuing what you do. So,
thank you.
And if somebody hasn't invited you to join Rotary, somebody needs to. Okay.
Oh, thank you.